Okay, I'm heading in to set up a trail cam. I had to wait for some hikers to leave. I'm kind of surprised they were in here. I had to roll boulders out of the way to get in, and there wasn't another set of tracks through the snow coming in. But I was just watching some mountain sheep up on that ridge from camp. I don't see them now, but I got a shot with my Canon Rebel. The zoom isn't that great on it, but we'll see how that turns out. But I'm going in over this hill here, and it drops down into a valley, and I'm gonna move over toward Haas Creek along the ridge line, and if I'm lucky, I'll be back in camp before dark, and maybe I'll get to see a critter. Okay, so I've moved down the ridge where I can see into the little valley area down there, and Haas Creek is 80 degrees, so I'm going that direction. You can see my arrow up here. The red arrow is north. So those two dead trees down there with the burns at the bottom, those are almost right on the 80-degree mark. So I'm gonna make my way down there, and then I'll shoot another azimuth 80 degrees from there out, and we'll just keep leapfrogging like that until we get all the way over to Haas Creek. Working down the ridge, quite a bit of fresh elk sign. So we ought to get some good shots on our game cam. See our two dead trees down there we're working towards. The nice thing about knowing how to use a topographical map and a compass, I picked those two trees, so even if I have to zigzag in and out of obstacles, I can still get to those two trees, and I know that from there, 80 degrees out is Haas Creek. When we get down there, I'll pull the map out and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, we've reached our trees. That was my first mark of where to go. So what we'll do now, I'm gonna get on the opposite side of them, and let's just pull out my map and my compass. Okay. So, I know I was camped on the 320 road up here, right there where my thumb's at. And we're making our way down here to Haas Creek, where my thumb's at. So, I lined my black lines up on my north and south lines. Put the straight edge against where my campsite was, and I move until I get my map oriented. So now you can see, if I can hold this out and make sure, so you can see that's north is off kind of to my left, 80 degrees is straight ahead. So we'll just pick us a point about 80 degrees out. What I'm going to do is put the center of the compass needle over my campsite. Make sure my black lines are lined up north and south. Get my arrow lined up just right. And I'm going to move left so I can clear that big tree right in front of me. Okay, so I'm gonna pick the dead tree out there with the bark missing, kind of orange below the gray, and that's gonna be pretty close to my 80-degree mark. But that'll be my next checkpoint. Just beautiful out here. They're just awe-inspiring, I think. That is a bird. I'm not sure what kind. I kind of thought it was a woodpecker, but they go in different tones from different directions. Now what I've got to be careful of, wide open area like this, a mountain lion could sprint and hit me from behind and I'd never hear it coming. Black bear could potentially do the same thing. So you got to watch. There's a good trail right through here. Elk and deer both probably travel that. I'd say those mountain goats, mountain sheep, probably come down in here and feed and then go back up. But I like to watch all around me. I like to see what kind of signs I can see, tracks, scat. Seen a lot of elk scat, a lot of black-tailed deer. But I like to know what's close. So the tree straight out's where I'm heading. So you see I got this one down in front of me. I'm going to have to move a little to the left or a little to the right. If I can come right back on my bearing on that tree. But what I like to do to know what's around me is move over by the snow line, see if there's any fresh tracks in the snow. And here's some more elk droppings. So come over here and see. And right, I'm thinking these could very possibly be black bear, but they're old tracks. So they've melted away. I can't really tell. Could be elk that melted out, but they're kind of shaped like a small bear. And then there's some bigger ones there, so this could be a mother and a cub. So we're going to really pay attention, keep an eye out. And bear, those characters will hibernate anywhere. They'll get in one of these fallen trees that's hollowed out, or if they can find a bigger round one that's tall enough that's hollowed out and big around where they'll fit, they'll get in that. Saw a news clip a couple weeks ago where a bear was coming out of hibernation out of a hollow tree 75 feet in the air, and I don't know how that could be comfortable because it was just an open stack like a chimney, so you get all that snow down in there on him. But that's his choice. I'm gonna get back on target. There's my tree. Really pay attention up through here. We'll get over here. I'm gonna shoot another line and see where I'm at. Okay, so my tree with no bark was right back there. So now I check my compass. I've got to go to that tree up about 1 o'clock from that little shrub right there. So I got to go up this rock face pretty much straight past that shrub. So I'm going to really watch my footing. I'll see how it goes. I might end up skirting this and coming back up. Been a lot of wind damage, snow damage. You can see all this grass is flattened down. It's all flowed. And the snow up here gets several feet deep. So when this starts to melt and it just kind of comes downhill, and the rain and the wind it all just pushes it one direction, kind of. It's a lot of weight. There's a lot of timber down up here. Some of it's been logged and some of it's just storm damage. Some really harsh winters up here. I don't see those mountain sheep right now. It's just beautiful though. I can't quit looking at it. I'm going to try one weekend to find my way up on that ridge to camp. But that's a whole nother trip plan there. So I'm gonna continue up this ridge and see about getting my trail cam in place and getting back before dark. I'm gonna leave that camera out here for a couple of weeks or so, and then I'll come back and see what kind of critters we got on it. So you can see loose rock, loose boulder, pretty harsh environment to walk in. I've got really good boots on, high top boots, good ankle support, good tread, and waterproof. But that doesn't help me if I twist an ankle or break a leg. So moving out here has got to be slow and deliberate. Just in case, I've got a full blowout kit. I've got suture kit, all kinds of first aid, and I've got an emergency locator beacon. I flip the antenna, hit one button, I sit and wait for the search and rescue helicopter. And just so they can see me easier, I've got a strobe light on my backpack as well. So worst case, I could get out here in the open, even if I had to drag myself down on a busted leg, spread out my silver heat blanket, solar blanket, sit on that or close to it, and hit that button, turn on my strobe, and wait. That'd make me really visible. I've got fire starting material in my bushcraft pouch as well, so I could also get some green stuff burning, get some smoke going. So yeah, this is tricky, but I'm going on up. If it were a little warmer out, I'd really have to watch for rattlesnakes too. There's a lot of northwestern rattlesnakes up here. So I'm gonna get on up this hill and see what's on the other side of this little ridge. I'm at the top. Didn't break my neck. That's looking back toward camp. So, get me lined up on north. Thread needle, 80 degrees, straight out that direction. So give or take a little, I'm gonna have to zigzag around, kind of watch my compass. So I'm gonna have, when you're in the woods like this, you just gotta take short stints, pick a tree, get to it, pick something else, get to it. It's when it's thick, you can't see ridges like this. If I was going this direction, I could pick that point up there, and that would be, well, if I line up north, that point would be roughly 310 degrees that direction, northwest. So when you can see something far out, you can cover a lot of ground before you have to check again. But in thick stuff like this, nah. So I'm gonna pick a tree out there. I can see where that tree is fallen. There's another tree straight through, about 80 degrees. So that's gonna be my target tree. Once I get there, I'll have to pick another landmark, shoot a bearing to it. Let's see how far we go to Haas Creek. And this is exactly a situation when you got to know that compass. Because all this stuff down, I may have to veer around one way or the other. But also, the battery on my GPS, I put 2 brand new Harbor Freight AA batteries in it, and those pieces of crap are already dead. They haven't even been in it 12 hours. So don't ever buy batteries at Harbor Freight, they're useless. So I don't have my GPS now, and I'm up here where there is no signal for GPS on my cell phone, so I better know what I'm doing using that compass and my map. And that's the reason I get a topographical map with contour lines and use those. I can see how the land lays. It's not one of these little tourist maps with nothing, no kind of detail. So I can tell steep from shallow rises. I've got elevation on there and good detail. So I'm gonna see just how good I am with this thing. So, been some campers up here, I guess when they were logging this, and probably when Forest Service was up here fighting these fires. You can see a lot of fire damage, and you do not want to be up here and get caught in a fire, because your chances of outrunning it pretty much zero. So if I gotta go like that, I'd like to be medium well, just for everybody's knowledge. So I'm going to jump off here and pay attention to the sounds around me and pick me another bearing. Looks like we're going to get some rain too. I'm hoping that holds off till I get back to camp. But I want to get down here and set this camera. So we'll check back shortly. The wind's picking up. Got some clouds moving in. That ridge of rocks right over there, that's going into Goat Rocks Wilderness. Back on this side is William Douglas Wilderness. Rimrock Lake is just over the ridge over there. Mount Rainier is straight back over there. And what I may have to do, because these clouds and rain clouds moving in, I may have to stop short and set my trail cam up on this ridge somewhere, because Haas Creek, where the ridge comes down, they're right down in the bottom of it. I don't know if I can get down there and make the climb back and then get back across this ridge before that rain hits, which would be bad. But I saw an area at the base of this ridge back over here that looks like a pretty promising area. Might get down there and look around, see what kind of tracks I see, and then make a decision there. But it is beautiful. Not a lot of people get to see this kind of stuff. Feel sorry for all those little thug kids on their video games that never get out and do anything. You got a lot of elk sign here. Elk everywhere up here. This is just gorgeous. Yeah, I'm gonna make my way around back toward the base of the ridge, see what kind of tracks I see, and make a decision on the trail cam, because I don't believe I can get down this ridge to Haas Creek and get back up it fast enough to outrun that rain, because this is some wicked steep terrain that I'm going to have to go down to put it down there. So I'm going to move across over here, check some ground for tracks, and a lot of good stuff around here for elk and bear and cougar and sheep to eat. So see what we can come up with. I've got my trail cam in place. It's a little bit higher than my head, and I'm 5'9", so maybe 5'10", 5'11", somewhere in there, I don't know, 6 feet. Looking out over this open, there's a game trail that comes right over these logs. There's another one out through that green that falls on down. So I'm thinking they're coming from up in here, both directions really, but I'm thinking the mountain sheep might come down and graze and then go back up. I'm hoping I can get a bear foraging or a cougar or something interesting. I always get elk, but maybe I can get a bighorn sheep or mountain goat, whatever. Hopefully a bear or a cougar. Gonna head back to camp and make sure Trail Pup is doing good. Left her in the tent. So now what I gotta do, I'm gonna reorient my compass. I'm gonna go back toward camp over there. So we were at 80 degrees coming back this way. So to get back, we're gonna have to go about 260 degrees, which basically will be kind of straight toward those trees. Camp's actually right over that ridge. I can see that ridge from camp. I'm gonna skirt around that and kind of head back the way I came. Try not to trigger my trail cam. So I'm gonna start that way and see what kind of time we can make. Maybe I can outrun the rain. Trail cam's in place. I've got it set for photo. I could set it to video, but I got video of elk, and if I don't get something good, then waste a battery. But we'll come back up in a couple weeks, maybe 3 or 4, and check on it and see what we got. Alright, on my way back, seeing some elk track up in here. Trail cam's straight across there, where those trees are down in an X shape. That'll be easy to remember. Starting to sprinkle, so hopefully that's all it does till I get back. I'd like to see a critter, but not close enough to get hurt. In case anybody's wondering what I'll do about a bear or a cougar. Black bear, they're not real social. They run off if they hear you, unless you get near their cubs or their food. Then you got issues. Bunch of elk scat. Cougar, on the other hand, they love to attack from behind, and they're good at it. And they can jump an easy 25 feet vertical. So climbing a tree isn't an option. But I've got my Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 45 Performance Center and Henry 44 Magnum lever action. So let's see. I'm going to shoot toward that stump right up there. Hearing something that might be a young elk or a sheep, but I can't tell, and I don't see anything. If it wasn't going to rain on me, I'd just sit down here and watch a while. It's beautiful. And that yipping sound, cougars make a sound similar to that to call their young. There's all kind of little nooks and crannies in these ledges they can get in to den. So I gotta really pay attention, because I do not want to tick off a mama cougar. It is beautiful. I'm gonna get started toward that stump. I have to skirt around some of this stuff, but if I see anything interesting, I'll kick that camera back on and see what we got. Okay, so here's what I mean by being able to be good with your map and compass, especially the compass. My stump is straight ahead. Well, look what's between me and it. So now I'm going to have to get off my bearing one direction or the other to get through this mess. and then I'm going to have to get back on. So this point of this ridge coming down is one landmark, and I know where camp is from that. So I know where that's at on the map also, so that's easy to pinpoint. The other one is where the ridge makes the bend going around. So I can use that point up there and the point of this ridge and triangulate where I'm at on my map. So if I have to, I can get back on track right there. But yeah, I didn't want to trigger my trail cam walking through it, so I came this direction instead. It's starting to rain a little more, so I'm going to go on and get moving. See how we do. This is smaller. That's black-tailed deer, probably. And these larger clumps, those are elk. And black bear scat looks a lot like human scat, but way bigger. But kind of got me a clear path up through here. See if I can't make some time beat this rain. So now I'm back at the rock ledge I crawled up, the valley I came across on my way in, and camp is straight across that way. Could almost see it from here if the trees weren't in the way over there. But I'm gonna maybe skirt around this to get down. I'll have to see, but if it starts raining very hard, these rocks are going to get really slick, and wouldn't be a wise decision to go down. So I reversed my bearing on my compass, and you can see I'm back at the shrub where I came up at. So you don't have to get lost. You can always find your way out. And you can also make a wood compass with there's a little critter. You can make a piece of flat wood with a stake in it, a little dowel, and then figure north off the sun and make your marks. Navigate with that. Vikings did something similar. So did Native American. But what I might do, I think I might move toward the edge of the ridge and move down and come back up the meadow, back up the draw, and then go across to where camp would be. Here's some kind of little critter, but I believe that would be safer than risking an ankle going back down. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll bring you back when I get down to the meadow. Critter, right on that rock. There he goes. They're fun to watch. Hard to believe something can move that fast that's that little. Hey, I made it around the edge of the ridge and down into the meadow, and now I'll work my way back up. Just a little chipmunk. Work my way back up to where I can cut straight back over to camp. Get Miss Trail Diva some food. Let her out to run a little bit. She's a good dog. Should have brought her, but I wanted to get a trail cam set without any other scent as much as possible, and it's going to take several days for my scent to go away, and I didn't want a dog scent to spook anything. So all kinds of elk sign through here. So I just left her at camp, left her in the tent. And checking this snow for a track. I don't really see anything new. Got some fresh elk track. I don't see anything recent. I'm gonna make my way up here and head to camp. See anything interesting, I'll bring you back on. Okay, so across the meadow, and rain let up a little bit. Camp is right up over the top of this rise. Get up this ridge and down the other side and cross a little clearing, and there we are. Well, I said the rain let up. It's starting to sprinkle again. When you know it'd be beautiful weather forecast for Yakima, but you come 30 miles west and get into the Cascades and never know what it's going to do. So I'm going to have to find my way around all this down stuff. So basically, right where that tree, that bald tree is sticking up, it's going to be my landmark. I hear search and rescue, but it ain't me they're looking for. Some idiot probably got out here and didn't know what they were doing, got lost, and hard to tell. I'm gonna get up over this ridge, get back to camp, and I got me some chunky steak and potato soup I'm gonna make tonight for supper. And see ya. Let the dog out. I know I'm gonna have to get back in shape if I'm gonna be climbing up and down these kind of hills. It's hard on no fart. So this old fart's gonna jump off here for a few, at least till I get over the top, unless something interesting comes out. Hey, I just topped that ridge, and you can see my tent straight across. So out and back with a map and compass, and a place I've never been before. So it does show you know what you're doing with your compass. You don't have to get lost. And I'm gonna jump off here and go eat supper.